Cruz Ramirez didn't lose her dream. She gave up on it before she ever got the chance to start. That's the thing about this story that's still stuck in my head. Everyone remembers Cars 3 as the movie where McQueen gets old and this cocky newcomer Jackson Storm shows up. Beautiful tragedy, a champion fading out. But if you actually look closer, the real drama isn't about McQueen at all. It's about the car they put right next to him as a coach, the one who trained champions but never once made it to the starting line herself. And the worst part? She didn't quit because she couldn't do it. She quit because she got scared. Once, right at the beginning. And that was it for years. Here's the thing. We usually think people give up on their dreams when they fail. You try, you crash, you walk away. Makes sense. But Cruz never even tried. She showed up to her first race, saw all these massive, fast, confident cars lined up next to her, and she just turned around and left. Before the flag. Before the start. She lost a race she never even entered. And that thought genuinely sat with me for days. Because people don't just do this in cartoons. People do this all the time. Hey, this is Mr. Blessed. Let's break down why the story of Cruz Ramirez might be the most honest thing Pixar has ever made about fear. And why the phrase, "you quit too early," hits harder than it sounds. Let's start with what's right on the surface. When we first meet Cruz, she's a star. They call her the master of motivation. She's the best trainer at the Rustez Racing Center. They bring her the most talented rookies, and her weird methods actually work. She knows everything about racing, how to tune a car, how to find your groove, what to focus on before a run. McQueen shows up, and she tells him she grew up watching him on TV, that he was literally her hero, like her whole thesis project. She loves racing with everything she has, and that's where the first weird thing pops up, the one that's easy to miss. The car in the room who loves racing the most, who knows the most about it, doesn't race. She sits next to her dream every single day, touches it, and never gets behind the wheel. McQueen doesn't even notice at first. To him, she's just an annoying trainer getting in the way of his prep against Storm. He loses patience, hops on a racing simulator against her advice, loses control, and wrecks the screen. And honestly, that's so human, we usually don't see the person right next to us until they break down in front of us. And Cruz breaks down on the road, after the Thunder Hollow disaster. That's honestly the heart of the whole movie. McQueen snaps at her, yells that the training spot is for him and he's not here to babysit her, and Cruz can't hold it together. She asks him to stop the holler. And for the first time in the whole film, she stops being a tool and becomes a person. She tells him she always dreamed of being a racer, just like him, that it was her dream since she was a kid, but her family didn't believe in it. And when she finally got a shot at her first real race, fear swallowed her whole. She looked at all those cars, so big and confident and polished, felt like she didn't belong, and she drove away, without ever reaching the start. And there's a line that I think is the whole movie in 6 words. Dream small, Cruz. Dream small, or not at all. That's not just sadness. That's what the world drilled into her head so deep that she started saying it to herself. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Cruz wasn't a bad racer. We literally don't know what kind of racer she was because she never gave herself a single chance to find out. She didn't fail on the track. She handed herself the verdict before she ever left the garage, then spent years helping other cars win because she decided she wasn't even worth the attempt. And that's where the strongest moment in the whole story is hiding. Remember how scared McQueen is at the start? He's scared his time is up, that he's too old, that the new generation is going to eat him alive. That's his personal nightmare for the whole film. Now look at Cruz. She's scared of the exact opposite, that her time will never come, that she already missed her shot before it even started. One is scared everything's already behind him, the other is scared nothing has even started yet. And they put these two in the same hauler on the same track. 2 mirror image fears heading straight toward each other. And when that clicked for me, something actually snapped into place. This isn't random. The whole film is built around these two pulling each other out of fears they can't beat alone. McQueen learns to let go of his dream of winning for himself. Cruz finally learns to grab hold of hers. They find the old track in Thomasville where McQueen first started out. There, Smokey teaches McQueen old school techniques and uses Cruz as a sparring partner. And in one training run, something happens that should have happened 10 years ago. Cruz passes McQueen and wins. Not because he let her, he's genuinely trying. She's just faster. She's just better. And in that moment, without even realizing it, she smashes every lie she'd been telling herself for years. The talent was always there. It never went anywhere. The only thing she was missing all this time was permission. Someone had to say, "You belong here." And everyone around her had been saying the opposite. That's where you need to stop and talk about Sterling. He's the new owner of Rust Ease, and he shows you the other side perfectly. The second it becomes clear Cruz has real potential, Sterling orders her back to the center. Train others. Stay in your lane. Don't reach. He literally kills her dream at the exact moment it finally woke up. And McQueen does the exact opposite. He overhears Sterling's order, and at the next pit stop, he tells the crew to put his racing number on Cruz and steps out of the race himself. Right in the middle of the biggest race of the season, the Florida 500. And this is the most controversial moment in the film. Fans still argue about it. Some say it's a beautiful passing of the torch. McQueen saw a real racer in her and made way. Others say he just handed her the win, and she didn't earn her spot herself. And honestly, I think it's fair to hold both ideas at once. This isn't as simple as it looks. Here's what matters. When Cruz gets on the track, she freezes up at first, driving carefully, unsure, not trusting herself. It's the same fear that made her leave her first race. It came back. But this time, there are people around who believe in her. Smokey and McQueen on the radio help her pull herself together, remind her of the training, and she pushes forward. Then she catches up to Storm, and he tries to spook her. Says something like, "You don't belong here." The same thing the world had been telling her whole life. And during the pass, the other cars slam her into the wall. And in that moment, Cruz uses the old Thunder hollow trick, bounces off the wall with a flip, lands in front of Storm, and wins the race. The car who once ran away from fear of the other racers just beat the fastest car of her generation using his own move. The judges give the win to both Cruz and McQueen. He started the race, she finished it, under the same number. After all of that, Cruz becomes the official driver for Team Dinoco and races under number 51, Doc Hudson's number. And McQueen moves into his role, becomes her crew chief, her coach. It's a chain. Doc trained McQueen. McQueen now trains Cruz. The win here isn't a trophy. It's what you pass on. Doc got wrecked and never raced again, but he found new meaning in raising a champion. McQueen repeats that path, except this time consciously. And Cruz carries it forward, a car who once thought it was all over. A circle that ran through all three films, finally closed. By the way, I came across something that explains a lot about this movie. Apparently, the confession scene with Cruz was rewritten because of a real person. One of the Pixar screenwriters felt like an imposter herself, a small fish in a huge pond full of geniuses. She hid it behind a smile and kept thinking she wasn't good enough. And her perspective became the foundation for Cruz. So Cruz Ramirez isn't just a made-up character for a nice story arc. She's literally a real person's fear transferred onto a car. Some critics even called it maybe the first story about imposter syndrome in animation. When you understand that, the road scene reads completely differently. The writers didn't invent the drama. Someone actually felt it and put it on screen. Though I'll be honest, I can't be 100% sure. I heard this through rumors and read it in some post, so take it carefully. But I can't ignore it either. Everything done to Cruz throughout the film is shown through one lens, a car who's told, "You don't belong here," and accepts it as fact. And there's a thing fans have jokingly called cars-splaining, when McQueen condescendingly explains obvious stuff to her, not noticing she actually knows more than he does. Small detail, but they nailed it. There's also one line that's usually aimed at McQueen, but is really all about Cruz. Don't be afraid to lose. Be afraid not to use your shot because you do have one. And if you apply that to Cruz, it hits different. She never lost. Losing means you tried and came up short. She never tried at all. She passed on her shot before she even knew if she had one. The story of Cruz Ramirez has nothing to do with cars or racing. It's about everyone who ever decided they weren't good enough before they even tried. Who looked at others louder more confident, and quietly walked away from their own starting line. Who spent years helping someone else reach the dream they had for themselves, dream small, or don't dream at all, is the most dangerous thing you can tell yourself. And the scariest part is that we usually say it to ourselves, nobody's making us. Cruz needed years, someone else's belief, and one race to understand. The talent was always there. It was just waiting for her permission. So the next time someone tells you Cars 3 is just a kid's movie about cars, remember the car who ran from her own dream and came back for it years later. And think about whether we've quietly walked away from something of our own. That's exactly what I'm here to dig into.